Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Dr. Wade. Dr. Wade is from Houston, in Texas, in the USA. So let's see what Dr. Wade has to say. Enjoy the interview. Amazing. So, hello, Wade. How are you?
Good. Well, should I call you William?
Yes, you can call me William. Yes. How are you,
Hello.
Wade?
I'm all right. How are you?
Very well. Thanks so much for taking the time for the interview. Thank you.
Yeah,
So
I'm
tell
all
me,
actually.
how's your day going so far?
It's okay. It's been busy. I've been working. It's been very busy. Um, but I was able to get some time to go to the gym, so that was nice.
So tell me, what has been the highlights of your week so far?
Ooh, good question. I think the highlight was I kind of did last night. It was an impromptu. Um, I live in Houston. We have a lot of bayous in Houston, but one of them is has been uh, landscaped. So it's natural landscape, but it's very pretty, and there's a lot of trails. And I have a very good friend. We like to walk it, but usually I don't ever do it at night. But we decided we're going to do it at night, so we did that last night, and that was a nice little walk.
Wow. And Houston is the place where you're born and raised?
No, I was born in Iowa.
Hmm.
It's a state in the United States, and I was actually raised in Nevada.
Wow. And your family are back in Iowa or Nevada or Houston?
None of those places. No, my mother passed away like 20 something years ago,
Okay.
and I don't have any siblings. So all I have is I have my father, and I have a few cousins.
Okay.
And my mother grew up in South Dakota, so all my cousins on her side are actually all in South Dakota. And my father grew up in Indiana, so all the cousins on his side are in Indiana.
I see. And I believe that you've been living in Houston for most of your life for a while now.
No, just 7 years now.
And why Houston?
Originally, so I was living in Las Vegas before I lived in Houston,
Okay.
and I was working at the Veterans Hospital in Las Vegas.
Hmm.
And I kind of wanted to apply for promotion, and my husband has family in Dallas,
Okay.
so and also St. Louis at the time, and he wanted to be closer to them. So I was trying to find a job in Dallas at the Dallas VA. So I'm stuck with the Veterans Hospital for a while because they're paying off my student loans. Um, so I was looking for a position at the Dallas VA, but there wasn't anything at the time. But there was a Houston position, and so it's closer than where we were. So I was like, let's just go to Houston. That's how I ended up.
Amazing. And what do you do for work for a living, Wade?
I'm a psychotherapist.
Hmm.
So I have a PhD in depth psychology, which is classic psychology like Jungian, Freudian, object relations. And then I
Wow.
have an MSW, a social work degree, which is actually what license I work under is my social work license. Um, I provide therapy at the I have a small part-time private practice that's dedicated to LGBTQ,
Hmm.
and then I full-time job is at the Veterans Hospital. But now I'm a manager, and so I don't do much therapy with veterans anymore because I mostly manage other therapists.
I see. And okay. So also you still see some patients that part of the LGBTQ plus community.
at home at my private practice.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see. I see.
because I love doing therapy, and at the VA, I don't do a lot of that anymore. So I wanted to keep my skills up, and I wanted to, because it kind of it's for me, it's rewarding. It enriches my soul. Um, Working for the government doesn't enrich my soul. It just pays the bills.
I see. So tell me, of course, I believe that you are part of the LGBTQ plus community as well, but why you decide to, let's say, to focus or to give more attention to the community? That's just because you are part of it as well, or did you see something through your life or through your career that there wasn't too much, let's say, attention to that? Tell me a little bit about it.
I'm part of the community. I spent a lot of time out in the community, especially in my younger years. And I think that, our community, at least in the States, um, we have been raised with a lot of discrimination, a lot of oppression. And I know what it was like for me growing up that way. And it was detrimental to me and my mental health. And I see it, or I used to see it a lot in our community as well. And I think that we don't get enough support.
Mhm.
And that's why I wanted to dedicate my practice to that, because I wanted to give back to my community.
I see. Okay. All right, so during the interview, I'm going to explore a little bit more about your life and also about your journey so far, okay?
Okay.
Dr. Wade, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and share your point of views?
Sure. Let's do
Amazing.
it.
Well, welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I have here my best friend. Okay, full of random fun questions. I'm just gonna play a song just for us to relax before the first question, okay?
Okay.
Just let's do it. Right, so before we start the game, during the journey, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Okay.
First question for you is, who is the most influential person in your life?
Hmm. Ooh, that's a tough one. Um, Probably my mom. Um, she was a single mom mostly. Uh,
Oh,
so, I watched her, she struggled a lot to keep food on the table, to, keep me in line she worked two jobs. Um, and couldn't always afford a babysitter. So like, I'm a latchkey kid that was in the 80s where we got left alone a lot. Um, but she always managed. She always put me first for the most part. Um, and she just always had this optimism about life. And despite the circumstances, she always had an optimism about life and always believed that I could achieve whatever I wanted to as long as I put hard work into it. And she was also uh, a very fun-loving and kind person. She loved people, and
mhm.
I think I get a lot of that from her. Is
Oh,
there's few people that, of course, people will irritate me like anybody, but there's few people that I dislike. I love people, and I think she really instilled that in me.
before she passed away, did she went knowing that you were a gay person or not?
Yes.
She knew it?
Hmm.
And when you think about her, yeah, what's the best memory that comes to your mind? That's something that you go like, wow, that's always gonna have a special place in your heart.
um, well, the memory I have most of her, which actually is, I went to a psychic once and they actually told me the memory without them knowing. So I was like,
Wow.
there must be something to this, right? But and what you may or may not get to is before I became a therapist, I was a DJ and I loved dance music. And that's my memory is my mom would I was young. Well, most of my childhood, she would dance with me. She would
Wow.
put on some music and we would dance in the living room. And we did that a lot. And that's my favorite memory.
Oh, sweet. Beautiful. Next question. Let's do it. Next question for you is, which person do you, okay, besides your husband, which person you are more in contact with, that you exchange more text message, you're always on a call, there's someone that you're always in touch with?
One person or?
Besides your husband, yes.
Well, the next person I'm most in touch with is we just adopted, I call it adopted, a third partner. So we're
Okay.
one of those thruples.
Right.
And so his name is Sean. So I'm probably next to Brian is my husband. Next to him, Sean is the person I'm most in contact with.
And what's the biggest joy of having a triple relationship, in your opinion? And the most challenging part, do you think?
What the rewarding part of it, or what I really enjoy about it is, well, a couple things. One is he offers, what my partner doesn't. And because I believe partners can't be everything, can't be 100% everything you need. So Sean really fills the parts that I don't get from Brian, and vice versa. Brian fills the parts I don't get from Sean, and we just have a lot of fun. That's probably, we have a lot of fun. We all get along really well. I think the challenging piece, and I'm not really sure if it's a challenging piece.
Or to adapt to the new, way of living. Was something that for you was a bit difficult to, to get into the situation.
Well, I think, okay, so for me, the challenging piece, which still lingers, it's getting better and better as I work on it. I had been with Brian for 16 years now. And so by this stage, I don't get as triggered if he wants to go have extramarital playtime.
Okay.
But because Sean is so new, when he wants to do it, like I still have a little bit of, I have a reaction to it sometimes.
Yeah, I see.
And it's not necessarily based in the fact that they're having sex, because I want to have sex with other people too. It's more like it's my own personal stuff, like, oh, I'm being replaced.
I see.
So it's that stuff that I have to work on, which it's getting better and better. Like it's really not that bad. But I have that. That's my challenge.
I see. What's your star sign astrology, Dr. Wade?
I'm a Virgo.
Virgo. Okay.
What does that say to you?
No, actually, no, I was so curious because I'm Scorpio, and Scorpio, we are very intense, at the same time very sexual, and also jealous. Jealousy is something that we, is difficult. What's mine is mine. So when you said about that, I was like maybe wondering that could be connected with your star sign. Yeah. Next question. Okay, before the next question, being a psychotherapist, yeah?
Yes.
I believe that you deal with a lot of emotions, you know what I mean? A lot. I even got goosebumps now talking about that. I think there is a lot of, you give yourself a lot, your energy, it's exchanging energy through your sessions and everything. My question for you is, through your career, did you find like a mechanism to kind of, block yourself, to protect your own energy from, the outside, from your clients, from your patients? Through your career, did you kind of find a way, or for you still somehow you still get into it? You know what I mean? It's somehow you still feel involved, if you know what I mean, or for you it's such a natural thing to do that you can disconnect, if you know my question, if you understand.
Yes, I understand. And it's a great question, and I get asked it quite a bit, actually. And I don't really know. So The answer is it comes naturally. I'm
Okay.
I'm able to disconnect from the stories somehow. I don't know, and I haven't really figured that out. Why that is, why it's for me compared to what other therapists I've talked to, some of them, do have a difficult time not letting go of some of the stories. And I've been told some pretty awful stories. But for whatever reason, I'm able to keep it in its own little box, its own little container. And I couldn't tell you how I'm able to do that.
I see. Okay. Next question is, what's your favorite holiday season of the year?
The fall, because of
Tell
Halloween. Halloween is my favorite, is my gay Christmas.
Do you dress up? Do you kind of every year you change some costume? How does it work for you?
I haven't dressed up every year, but yes, this year we're dressing up. Last year we dressed up. I think the year before that we took it off, but we've had some interesting costumes over the years.
And do you think it's your favorite because it's a way for you to express, you know what I mean, yourself through, costumes, or it's just like something connected with your childhood, or why do you feel like this connection with Halloween?
I think it's all of the above. It was, yeah, because when you're a kid, it's a chance to be something else, be other than you are. My very first costume, which I don't remember, but my mom told me, was a witch. And my mom let me be a witch, which I love that. She let me do that. Because that was back in 1970s when boys weren't supposed to dress up as girls. Uh, but I've always loved the ability to just, I don't do drag, but I do drag on Halloween sometimes. So, it's fun to just be someone else for a change.
Totally. And I think I think Halloween became, I remember growing up, I grew up in the 80s, and I don't remember talking about Halloween. I don't remember, like, I have my memories. But for the last 20 years, you know what I mean? It became so popular every single year, you know what I mean? Not just the celebration, but people, they get into it. Like, you see the houses, like back in Brazil, I remember, like, houses, like, with those decorations, and here in England, in Portugal, when I was living as well, I remember, oh my God, now it's Halloween everywhere, not just in America.
Great. I was actually in the UK back in during Halloween in 2010, I think it was, and there was not that many people dressed up. So that's nice to hear that.
Yeah. Last year, when I was coming back home from work, actually, I remember I saw some kids like knocking doors and get, the trick and treat. I was like, oh my God, it's happening now.
Yeah, that's great.
But I can tell you the best Halloween I ever had, I was working for Disney Cruise Line in 2016, and was during Halloween time. Look, I felt like in a Hollywood movies, the perfection, the costume from the guests coming for dine. I was like, wow, that's the, like, literally, I couldn't believe. I felt, okay, that's Halloween. That's no comparison. That's Halloween.
Right. Yeah, Disney, of course.
Absolutely. Next question.
Okay.
Hey, Dr. Wade from Houston, Texas. Describe yourself in one positive and one negative word.
I'm trying to decide between two. Compassion.
Okay.
I think I'm a compassionate person. Um, I mean, I always think I could be more compassionate, but I think I'm pretty compassionate.
Mm-hmm.
Is negative. Hmm. At the same time, I do have a little judgmental voice in my head, and I can be very judgmental internally. I don't I don't express it because I know where it's coming from, but
Mm-hmm.
it's there. It's there.
And when you stop to think about yourself, to analyze yourself, what is the biggest joy of being you? What do you like the most about being Dr. Wade?
What do I like the most about being me? Gosh, that's a good question. I think what I like the most is I have this insatiable appetite to learn, and I don't ever feel like I ever know enough, and I
Mhm.
always want to know more. So I have a huge curious side of that. I'm always curious about stuff.
And you always been this way?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason I became a therapist, because human behavior just fascinates me, and I always want to know more about why do people act this way? Why do people do these things? Why do they make these choices? Um, that and there's never the same answer is never twice, right? So people are so unique, and so that's what keeps me always wondering more. I want to know more. Why? Tell me more.
Wow. Next question, ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Next one. Before the next question, back to the LGBTQ plus community, yeah? Of course, I think, I don't know, you just correct me if I'm wrong. Through my life, I realized that all of us, part of the community, doesn't matter how you've been raised, doesn't matter how, your family supported you or didn't, or this and that. What I realized that all of us, we have this tendency that we need to, there's like something missing in our personality, like loneliness. Somehow you feel lonely, you feel apart, you feel like you need to prove something about whatever you do in your life, could be professionally or emotions. I don't know, I realized that you always, there's always something that you need to to stand out, or to stand out about your personality, the way you introduce yourself to the world. My question for you is, through your, your career, in your experience, do you think that all of us, we have something that's similar to our personality because we are gay or bi or, trans? There is something that a stigma or something that all of us, we work on it, or we don't understand. There is something about it, or do you think that's people that are different, all of us, we have different, let's say, issues or things that are missing our personality, just because the fact that we are gay or bi or any part of the community? What do you think about that? If I was clear, I don't know if I was clear with my question.
I think you were, and you tell me if if my answer satisfies the question. Um, I do think I think in general, well, and I can't speak for other countries, but I get a sense that Western countries, mostly probably America, is more like this. Um, are very much like it's about what you do, that you have to achieve, and in America that's a big thing, like pull yourself up from your bootstraps and rise from the ashes and become something great. I think that's already in the American culture, so it leaves most of us feeling like not enough. But
Mhm.
I do think, in addition, uh, and I think it's true, like for LGBT definitely, but also for any marginalized community that has been made to feel like they're less than because of their color or sexuality or gender. Like, I do think that makes us feel less than, and often a defense against feeling less than is achievement, right?
Mhm.
Is working real hard to become something special,
Yeah.
right? So that you don't have to constantly feel less than. So I do think that is definitely more prevalent in our community.
Hmm. I see. Okay. Next question is, what do you think is a good age to start dating, and why?
Oh God. Oh, that's a good question. Um, well, I think that, you know, for at least when I grew up, like LGBT back in the day, we couldn't date the same. The people that we were really interested in high
Yeah.
school, that was a no-no. And what ended up happening is you may have heard, or people, we ended up, when we come out, we have a second adolescence, they call it. Or like when a transgender person chooses to transition, they have a second adolescence because they're realizing who they really are, and they're reverting back to the thing they didn't get as a kid.
Mhm.
Right? We all come into our identity in our teenage years, and I think it's essential to start dating people you're attracted to in your probably later teenage years is probably better.
Yeah.
16 on. I think 16 is a good time.
Who was your first crush?
Oh God. Like my first crush was a actor on TV. I think this is the first one. It was the Wonder Woman show. Uh I forget his name, Lyle something, but
Uh-huh.
he was the main character on her show, and I thought he was just hottest thing ever.
Two questions left. Let's do it. Next question for you is, what does love mean to you?
Oh, what did love mean?
Yeah.
Oh God, that's that's a loaded question. Uh I think love is work. Love is the willingness to put in the work to accept someone completely as they are.
Yeah.
Uh, because everybody's different. We all disappoint each other. It's part of being human. But love is what comes in and says, I'm going to put in the work to accept this person and all of their imperfections. And that includes myself too. Like I need to put in the work to accept all of my own imperfections.
Okay.
And but it requires work.
Every day.
Mhm.
Last
Yes.
question. Ready?
Okay.
Let's do it. Last question. Do you like dancing, Dr. Waits?
Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
Before the next question, of course, I was checking your profile and I could see a few videos about meditation. Yeah. And one of them got my attention. One of the topic of the meditation was working with difficult emotions. Yeah.
Mhm.
What do you mean by that? Difficult emotions?
That's any emotion really that is you feel is overwhelming and is kind of you feel a little bit helpless to, or that it has control over you.
Mm-hmm. Do
That would
you
be
meditate? Sorry, no.
no,
Um, how often do you meditate?
not as much as I should lately. But I try to do it every day.
Yeah. Okay. Last question for you is, which question would you like to be asked?
Oh gosh, what would I like to be asked? Um, I think that I would love to talk about travel.
Travel. Okay, so I'm gonna ask a question regarding that. Tell me a place or a travel that you've been on vacation that for any reason, one reason or another, left a mark in your life or in your emotions, or something, a place that for you, you meant to visit, you meant to be in that place, in that time, in that moment for any reason.
Yeah, I think that the place that really captured my soul was Istanbul. Just the culture and the food and the history, like it was just magical. All that combined, um, the different religions, like all of it, this melting pot of all this culture and history, just really, um, I don't know. It was invigorating. Um, and the people were so friendly and accommodating. Like I just loved it when I visited.
Amazing. Okay, so then yet, let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Keep thinking. Let's start with family.
So I give you
Yeah.
a word. Family, complicated.
Money.
Oh, not enough.
Okay. Never not enough. Fear.
Fear?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, nothing's coming. Peace.
Okay. Life.
Life.
Yeah.
Joy.
Love.
Heartbreak.
Religion.
Opiate.
I never heard this word before. Wow.
Opiate?
Wow. What's the meaning?
It's opiate is heroin.
Okay. Made my day. I learned something new. One word for sex.
Fun.
Okay. Politics.
Evil.
Friendship.
Essential.
Desire.
Suffering.
Regret.
Regret. Regret. Forgiveness.
Success.
I want to say, trying to think of the best way to say this word. Well, defined, which means it needs to be defined.
Okay. One word for wish.
Wish?
Yeah.
Hope.
Happiness.
Happiness. Happiness. Dogs.
Oh, sweet. One word for Houston.
Houston. Ooh. Beyonce.
I love it. Actually, she's from Texas, isn't she?
She's just from down the street from where I live.
Wow, you know what? I didn't know that. I just found out the other day. I was reading something about, artists, and suddenly she said, "Oh, Beyonce's from Texas." I'm like, "Oh," and I never kind of thought about that, or never stopped to think about that. Okay, I'll remember that. Beyonce, Texas. Okay.
Yeah.
One word for USA.
Imperfect.
Meditation. One word.
I already used peace, so I'll say compassion.
And in the last one now, psychotherapist. One word.
Tool.
Amazing. Let's pretend now I'm going to go all the way to Houston to meet your husband and your partner, and I'm gonna ask both of them. You need to agree, yeah, in what's the most beautiful thing about Dr. Wade, and what's something that he still needs to work on, to improve on. What both of them would agree on.
Oh, beautiful thing?
Yeah.
Probably I don't know. I think this is what they would agree on, that I'm intelligent.
Okay. And something that you need to improve, to work on it. What do you think they would both say about you?
I think they would probably say I need to slow down.
Okay. Let's play now Dr. Wade in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. But okay, Dr. Wade, you can ask me a question now.
Yes. So what got you into this?
Do you have another 2 hours to talk about? Let's start the therapy session, yeah? I'm
Yeah.
joking. Right. 2020, when the world went upside down, before that I was already thinking about something that I could do on YouTube, that I could connect with people, I could express myself, but I didn't know what I could do. I literally didn't know. The first idea was about music. I love music. And when I started talking to a friend of mine about the project, he said, William, you cannot use other people's song online. They're going to block you straight away. Anyway, lockdown came 2020, and here in England you could leave the house once a day for exercise, to do run in the park, and I was doing that every day in the evening. And one of those run, this idea came along. I remember the moments, I remember the place, and I was like, oh my God, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a YouTube channel where I could do some questions, ask random people around the globe, and see their point of views, to see what they think about it. And that's how the idea came along. But saying that, I was already doing that, like as a teenager. I remember, like, when I look back, when I was at school, I was asking my colleagues at school, who was your favorite teacher? What did you do? What did you like the most about being a child? I was already doing that, of course, not in front of the camera. So literally, it just came, the idea came along, out of a run in the park. That's how the idea started. And it's been a beautiful journey. I had more than over 1,000 people already on the show around the globe. It's been great. Like, I have no idea. I could do that 24 hours, no stop. I just remember I'm recording when I look here on the side, because for me, I feel like I'm just talking to a friend. And it's been amazing, the way people, they share, stories, they share emotions, they share beautiful things, sad things as well. And it's just a journey, it's just beautiful to be here and listen. It's like a therapy, like what you do, it's something similar, you know what I mean? I just love it being here. I think I'm meant to be doing that. If I would see someone doing this, I'll be like, oh my God, I'd love to be doing that. So yeah, that's how the show started.
It's so great. I love that.
Did you enjoy the interview?
Yeah, I did.
Thanks
Very
again. Thanks for being so kind and accepting the invitation. And also thanks for taking your time as well. I know you're a busy man, and you made the time. I appreciate. But before you go, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
You're enough.
Perfect. Short and sweet.
Yes.
Regards to your partners, to your husbands, to your friends, and you keep in touch. It was a pleasure, okay? Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Take care. Bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye-bye. See you next time.